Well, howdy and welcome to the Bender Bunker. I'll be up front with you. This is not going to be a lesson video. This is going to be a hypothetical what-if type of journey of b-bending and guitar playing. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to do what we already just did, which is take some of the most iconic and recognizable classic rock tunes that were not recorded with a b-bender, and we're going to throw one in, and we're going to do two things. What might it sound like what you just heard? And then two, what might that have done to the b-bending guitar playing consciousness, and maybe be a little bit more popular and a little bit more prevalent in guitar playing worlds these days if some of these tracks actually had a b-bender. Now imagine Page, I mean, what is that? Stairway to Heaven has got to be the most iconic classic rock song of all time. I think it's being played on FM radio like every second of the day. You go check for me. Let me know. I'll wait. No, I won't. So basically, what if he'd taken that song, which is already going to be a classic no matter which guitar he recorded with it, but he had put a bender on there in the early 70s when they released that. I mean, think of his audience and the other guitar players would have been blown away if they heard that kind of b-bending mixed in there. They would have thought, oh my God, what kind of Aleister Crowley black magic does Page have in his guitar now? But you and I know, this would have been a bender. But sadly, the opportunity was lost. But think if had a bender been in Stairway, I think the Fender would have had to crank up the production line and start spitting them out because people would have wanted them. So before we move on from Mr. Page, because he's such a true classic, let's maybe try one more. I'm going to turn a little dirt on for this one, if you indulge me. And what if he did something like this off the second album? That's right, the juice, the lemon, the leg. I submit to you, had I used the b-bender on that track, the juice would have probably flowed even further down the leg. Prove me wrong. So again, Page, of course, did go on and do a b-bender later on in his career. I think probably around the 5th or 6th album, he started getting a b-bender totally involved. And on that topic, the Bender Bunker, my YouTube channel you're viewing now, can lay claim, in my opinion, to, I'm not saying it's the best, but I will go ahead and make the claim it's the longest b-bender instructional video related to a Led Zeppelin song. 10 Years Gone from Physical Graffiti. It's one of the first videos we posted here in the Bender Bunker, and I do submit it's probably the longest. It's a two-parter, clocks in around 19 minutes. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a direct link, which should appear shortly above my head on your screen. Okay, so there we go. That's two tracks to get the party started. We're going to be moving on now to another iconic song and another iconic electric guitar player. That's right, the Bender Bunker is going after you, Mr. Mark Knopfler, next, so stand by. Okay, it's the late 70s, heading into the 80s. I'm already a young guitar playing pup, and as pups my age were prone to do back in the day, it's a steady diet, Zeppelin, Hendrix, Van Halen, things of that nature. And all of a sudden, a very clear and distinct sound comes across the radio waves from across the ocean. It's the Sultan of Swing himself, Mr. Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits. And what a simple, clear sound it was, that Stratocaster through the Fender amp. Clear, simple, but yet so distinct. Jumped right out of the mix back then, hit me and a bunch of other guitar players right in the chest, and we all went, hey, who's this guy? He's pretty good. So much like the Zepp stuff, I don't think it would have mattered what guitar Mark recorded that classic track with. As long as it's Mark playing it, the song stands by itself, and Mark's going to make it sound great. But this is a what-if video. So what if Mr. Knopfler was in the studio and called for a b-bender telly that day? Might it have sounded something along the lines of this? Alas, we'll never know. But, I think a bender might have added a little extra secret sauce to that iconic riff. Who knows? Now, that's pretty simple stuff. I don't think it would have done that much. It's very subtle. But what I might have done a little bit more to bring the b-bender into the forefront in the public consciousness is if in that same song, Mark goes for the iconic solo that every guitar player knows the minute they hear it, and it's so distinct you can hear it in the radio and go, oh, Mark Knopfler, Sultans of Swing. And also, it's hard to do a guitar solo that can jump out and be so distinct like that. Only the great ones can do it, and Mark certainly has that knack down. So he's in the same song, he's going for the solo, he's hitting the crescendo, and what if he had a beat bender? And what if I get this on the first take? So let's try it. So there you go. I don't know. B-bender in the iconic part of the solo. Mark could play it better than I just did, but what if he did it? Maybe everybody goes, whoa, it's even more out of the mix. A little bit something different. Again, I think the song is going to be the song no matter what. It's going to be a hit. It was destined. And the guitar playing's next level, but you get a bender in the mix, and all of a sudden, does the B-bender Telecaster become a must-have for all the Fender aficionados that year? Don't know, and that's why we're doing this. What if? All right, so now we're coming back to my home state of Texas, and the Bender Bunker is going to do a B-bender take on one Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan, so stand by. Okay, we're in the 80s, and I'm still going strong playing guitar, but the music on the radio is definitely shifting. We're hearing a lot of drum machines, we're hearing a lot of sequencers and synthesizers, and you got your Duran Durans and your Kajagoogoo's and your Thompson Twins, and the Van Halen wave has started to crest. Diamond Dave has left the band, and guitar playing is kind of moving a little bit in an aimless direction there for a little bit. And a young upstart firebrand from Texas comes out of nowhere, one Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan, and decides to light the world on fire for guitar players yet again. And he showed up with that Relic Strat, which, by the way, was not Relic. He actually did that himself. I know, it's crazy. I'm going to get on a soapbox, actually, for a second about Relic guitars. I don't mind them, whatever. I don't own any, probably never will, but if you have one and it plays the way you want and sounds the way you want, more power to you. Spend the money on whatever you want. My problem with Relic guitars is they have ruined guitar porn for me. Yeah, that's right, guitar porn. Turns out guys like me like to get on the U-Face sometimes and look, in my case, Fender Custom Shop Telecasters. That's what I like to look at. Don't judge me. But how come, seems like 90% of any Fender Custom Shop Telecaster I can find is Relic? They've already dinged it up for me and done all kinds of crazy things to it. Again, if you like that, great. It's not for me. Problem is the ratio is like 90% of them are that. Hey Fender, maybe 50-50. Plenty of relics, plenty of non-relics, because man, they're hard to find on the internet, and I would enjoy looking at them, and who knows, maybe save up and buy one. All right, I'm getting off the soapbox. So there we are. Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan has brought a well-needed injection of vitality to guitar playing and the blues genre there in the 80s when we needed it the most. And, thank God he did. Now, as many of you know, the Bender Bunker is located in the heart of Central Texas. And there's a trivia fact that unless you live in Texas as a guitar player, you probably don't know. So I'm going to give you a little piece of trivia. Once a year, if you own a car in Texas, you have to go get it inspected so you can get an inspection sticker off for your windshield. Now, if you're a car owner and an electric guitar player, you have to bring your guitar with you to the car inspection. So while they are inspecting the car, you have to go into a separate room with your electric guitar, and you have to prove to them as a Texan that you can play at least one Stevie Ray Vaughan style lick. Otherwise, you don't get your Stevie Ray Vaughan card, and then if you're caught playing live as an electric guitar player in Texas and you don't have a valid Stevie Ray Vaughan card, they can fine you. So you don't want that. So I just did it a few weeks ago. I remember I went in, cars getting inspected. I walked up to the guitar inspector, and I just went... They said, okay, stop, stamp it, here's your Stevie card, because honestly, it's an entry-level job. They don't want to be there either. So that's just a little trivia for you. If you don't believe me, next time you visit the great city of Austin, Texas, take a trip down to the famed 6th Street, live music, self-proclaimed live music capital of the world. And on any given night, just walk up and down 6th Street, listen to the bands that have electric guitar players in them, and at some point, you will hear the required Stevie Ray Vaughan lick come out, because they don't want to get fined and lose money. It's understandable. So there you go, a little trivia fact for you. All right, so we're going to go to Stevie Ray Vaughan's first album. And, that's the one that kind of made his name with. He just come off the David Bowie gig. And he's got a track on there. It's the instrumental track, Lenny, for his first wife, which is always confusing because he always said his guitar was his first wife. So you tell me. And what if Mr. Vaughan had said, you know what, I'm going to put number one away for a minute, And I'm going to go get my B-Bender Telly for this one because I think it's really going to add that extra flavor to it. I think it might have sounded something along the lines of this. And then, when he breaks it down in that middle section where he's really just kind of... he throws in something like this. You know, just enough to go, hey, what's he doing? Okay, so there you have it. An iconic Stevie song, possibly using a B-Bender. Now, Fender would have loved that, because I know that Stevie Ray was helping them sell a lot of Stratocasters, still does to this day, and will for quite some time. But imagine if everyone had come out that, oh man, he used a B-Bender Telecaster on Lenny. They would have sold a boatload of Telecasters. And that's kind of the whole point of this What If video. You've got three very iconic, well, four, because I threw an extra one in there, but you've got some iconic classic rock songs that were, part of the lexicon of guitar playing for us electric guitar players now. And if any time those great songs, again, they would have stood on their own no matter what guitar, but at any time those players would have put a B-Bender in there, I think we'd have a different environment for B-Bender players here. I think that the Bender bunker would be a much larger hangout for all of us, because I've always said Bender people are a small, mighty people, but we are small because there's just not that many of us. And I always think we're one song away. We would have been one song away from the B-Bender being a much more prevalent instrument. Now, what I like to think here in closing is there's a young buck, young upstart in his mom's basement right now with a B-Bender, hopefully watching the Bender Bunker channel, and they're getting ready to tear it up in the years ahead. My ship has sailed, but you, my friend, you get that B-Bender, you work it out, and you take it to where I think it should have always been. You write the iconic track, you put the B-Bender on it, and I'll tell you, that's a download I'll pay for. All right, that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed this little what-if, hypothetical journey of B-Bending here with me. And we'll get back to the lessons and the twang licks and all that, all your regular scheduled programming. But as always, never forget our motto, it is never too late to go on a bender. If you enjoyed this video, maybe share it with other guitar players. If you liked it, maybe hit the like button. Again, I don't want to be too bossy. You do what you're going to do. Hell, go even buy a relic guitar. Don't listen to me from what I said before. All right, well, I appreciate you listening, and keep bending it. See you next time.